What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods, ready to rock into the weekend. Thursday, another weird slate where I just didn't like all that much. Of course, 13 runs by the Twins, and both my props from it lose. So that was painful. That was not an enjoyable experience. Pretty light here in the evening window. Looking and revisiting stuff with Detroit and LA here right now. Might end up firing a little bit of something here. Got 10 minutes before that game starts. I'll decide here while we're recording. But anywho, we got a lot to talk about here on Friday. A lot of work went into this slate. No locks on it, but tons of likes. And those have been really, really profitable over the course of the last, not just week, but last couple months. Last 2 months have been really, really nice. May and June in the like department. Again, locks just floundering around the 500 number, which is just a disgusting fact. But lots of likes, and that is the goal, is to make you money. We have been making you money here on this program. Let's keep doing that here. Let's finish the week out strong. 15 games, every team in play. And producer Jacob, he's excited. Colton Cowser, he just hit a home run. So cash that one for the people. A lot of people didn't like Colton Cowser. That felt good. Gonna tweet that. Goodbye. Let's get to the picks. Well, not goodbye. I got to start talking now. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. We've got an interesting one right from the get-go here. We've got Miami, we've got Philly, and probably a really statistically significant thing occurred in this game against Miami. We're talking like the worst team potentially ever. And Strahm and Hoffman both gave up runs, 3 earned runs between the two of them. Two of the unbelievable relievers in baseball today, down 6-4 heading into the bottom of the ninth right now, are the Philadelphia Phillies. But we've got Tyler, we've got Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez, first thing of note, always has to be the ground ball rate. It's what I bring up right from the get-go with him all the time. It applies yet again here, 60.5%. That is ridiculously good stuff in inducing ground balls. Does have the 275 expected batting average against. Have gone 0-2 when I've locked him this season, so I'm the black plague for him, but 5.1% barrel percentage. We've also backed him successfully 3 times in the like department, so only down around 0.7 units. Yay, congratulations, not down on the best team in baseball. Such a cooler for them. But anyway, Kyle Tyler on the other side of this one. He's a youngin', 27 years old, 2018, not a ton of stuff. We just saw him called up, and when you see 26, 27, 28-year-olds making their debut, probably not all that great. 63% usage on the cutter in that first outing. Well, first couple of outings. He had one back in April, but specifically looking at the outing against the Mariners there, he ended up giving up 2 earned runs there in that. A home run, first home run he's given up there. Well, he's been in the big leagues once upon a time back in 2022. Only 2 outings that he had there. And I believe he had quite a few of them in 2021, but hard to really look at any of that data. Looking at AAA, he's definitely going to be attackable, which is why you see minus 310 here for this team. Oh, boy. I've just coolered Christopher Sanchez multiple times this season, so I'm probably staying away. Philly, minus 1.5. Philly, minus 2.5. Yeah, I might be looking at some alternate lines, potentially finding some value there, but at minus 310, no thank you. No, thank you. And the best 2 relievers did get utilized here today. Going to go back and check some bullpen usage here. Don't think anything's really going to change for me in this one. Washington, Tampa, another lean that'll get out of the way here. Parker, Eflin. This is a weird one to have 7.5 considering the quality of these pitchers. Not the highest. Mitchell Parker, 39.9% hard hit up against him, sub 20% K rate. The Ks had been there. They're starting to dissipate. 42.6% ground ball rate is okay. It's about what you've got with Eflin on the other side, 43.1%. But the 294 xWOBA, a lot better than the 314 xWOBA. And also Tampa Bay starting to see some bats come to life, starting to hit better. Yandy Diaz, Randy Arozarena. Combined the 2 names there all at once. Little Freudian slip for the people early, but over 7.5. Just going to be a lean for me. This is kind of an iffy ballpark to be really firing up totals. 7.5, low number it would appear, but maybe I'll look at some lefty power against Eflin, but more than likely staying away from this game as well. First play of the day, let's get it rocking. Max Scherzer going on the mound up against Albert Suarez. And let's start on the Suarez side because he's been one of the lackluster starters. There's a couple of them, Cole Irvin, a couple of these guys that exist on the Baltimore side that I'm not the biggest fan of. I think that's kind of been a stated fact many, many times now. They have a number of ridiculous starters too at the same time. I think Grayson Rodriguez is going to be incredible. And of course, Corbin Burns is outrageous. They're up 9-2 here at the moment, finishing out that one. But I like the Max Scherzer side of this one. I wanted to look really in depth at that first start from him and really see if there was anything that we can mine out other than the fact that really good peripheral numbers are right from the get-go. 0.2 whip, 5 innings pitched there, 4 strikeouts right from the get-go, and a 0.87 expected ERA. Only 57 pitches, but took on the Royals. That's not exactly nothing there in his debut. Pretty decent little lineup there at the top of that order, and faced it twice. Was very, very efficient twice. Now, I think he can definitely limit some of the damage here. Suarez, nobody's going to potentially say Suarez is the better starter. The whole point is that, well, the Orioles are a lot better lineup. We see them smashing righties all the time. And that's where I look at the first 5. And I was curious to see if we were going to get plus money still on the Scherzer side of things, considering he's only going to go 65, 70 pitches here. Maybe he gets a little bit more and we run lucky there. But it's mainly the first 5 getting plus money, knowing that it's then turning over to bullpen arms and they can play the platoon if it's through 4 innings. I think this is an advantageous spot to be getting plus 110 or so on the first 5. Anything with a plus sign in front of it, first 5 Texas, I'm willing to take that shot. I know it's risky. I know that there's definitely some people who are going to see this and say, oh, I can't bet against Baltimore, but I'm getting better than a coin flip. It's a price thing. Max Scherzer looked really, really good. We'll see if he can make it happen a second time for us, but don't want to go too far into that Texas bullpen. Yankees getting absolutely drummed against Toronto in this spot, coming off of getting drummed by the Mets. A little bit of free falling. Oh, shout out Petty. He's a real one. But Marcus Stroman and Yusei Kikuchi, we used to kill him and bet against him all the time, but he's been better. Today, Junior, it's been a lot better. We've talked about it at length here on this program. Was one of the better starters in baseball. Now the hard hit is starting to come up. 9.6% barrel percentage, 43.8% hard hit. We got our money in good, and then the prices got a little inflated, and, well, just in time for him to start hitting that down curve yet again. And that's why I'm going to be leaning on the Yankee side, but I don't want to really be playing this one. Marcus Stroman, not my favorite back in any way, shape, or form. The total of 8 is actually something that I'll revisit here as well, but the Yankees didn't have to utilize any of their main bullpen arms. Well, because Carlos Rodon gave up infinity runs. Hopefully you did not end up on that. I did not end up on that in the premium Discord. Those prices just didn't end up moving. And George Springer, double dinger from George Springer. Good stuff. I'm not going to be on this one either. I'm just going to throw that out there. But price, thank you for not getting better than plus 120, plus 125 there on the Yankee side, because would have been problematic for me today. Anywho, this is never problematic. It's a hot shot. $14.95 weekly, friends. Come hang out with us in the premium Discord, where you're going to get my betting card every Monday through Friday, and I will be around on the freaking weekend, baby, because it is UFC 303, and I am going to be partaking. Go Yuri Prochaska. Let's go. He won round 1. He won the first half until he got knocked out against Pereira last time out. But, friends, UFC 303 is going to be a blast, and I'm excited for the Ortega-Lopes fight. I think most people are. But anyway, we're going to talk through that in the premium Discord. Greg Ehrenberg's going to be firing up some bets for the people. This I know. I'm also going to be looking at the Pick 6 streets, some of the Pick'em streets for the people. I'm excited. You should be excited too. Plus, lots of baseball over the weekend. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly. It gets a little bit better, though. Promo code Lindy. Look at that. Producer Jacob, great timing. Expert picks, Discord, premium tools, everything all in one package down below, and 20% off that first week. Turn $15 into $12. Yes, less than $2 a day to try out that premium Discord and check out the Holy Grail, friends. It is the positive EV tool. Back to the picks we go. Drew Thorpe gets pushed to Friday. I mean, it doesn't really matter all that much for the White Sox, but it matters for me. I care because Dakota Hudson and Colorado show up as opposed to having to back him against, some of these weird spots. Now, they won a 1-0 game against Atlanta, so shout out. It ended up being Chad Kuhl who took the mound there. I almost bet Luis Robert to hit a home run off a sale, and once you know it, that happens in the first inning. It's the only thing that occurred in the game. So 8 straight innings here for the White Sox. They are just brutality. But I'm betting them here in this spot, and this is actually my second favorite money line play here on it's Colorado outside of Coors Field. They have an 80 WRC plus against righties, and I got to point out one thing with Drew Thorpe, because I think it's something that I pointed out last time around when he was on the mound, but I think he's got decent enough strikeout stuff. No, it didn't show up in that first outing. He got completely bludgeoned, got completely thrashed, but 4.4 expected ERA. We're talking 1.53 whip, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. Still, the strikeouts played up there against Detroit. Only the 2 hits allowed. I think there's some decent stuff here, despite the fact that he has no four-seam fastball. But that changeup, it is filthy. I brought it up before his first start. It's what looked good in AAA for me. 42.9% whip percentage on it so far in a couple of big league appearances. So for me, not giving up barrels, avoid Ryan McMahon. That's all you do with Colorado is you avoid this Ryan McMahon character because he is so damn good. But Drew Thorpe, I think he gets the better of Dakota Hudson here in this spot. And again, Eloy Jimenez, you got Luis Robert, you got all the main guns back for the White Sox. Oh, they won't be league worst. They'll be like third worst. That'll be fun. I want something here. I just don't know how to do it because apparently this purple thing, this grimace character, is just inflicting pain upon the world. Now, we only tried to pick on the Mets like once in this ridiculous run, but I haven't been backing them. And sometimes that's a little bit more frustrating if you can't find what it is. Now, Francisco Alvarez is the reason for the season, friends. This is the dude who is going absolutely ballistic right now. 322, 256, 398 expected slugging averages don't really look all that good. Or what is it? Expected / line. There you go. Those don't look all that good, but I want to read off his splits for June. And we're going to do this with another character coming up here shortly. Shout out Jonathan India. But in the month of June, Francisco Alvarez, 415, 500, 732 / line with an OPS north of 1.23. That is one of the dumber things you're going to see for a month of time. And it's been like a consistent month here. It's been 28 days, and I'm not a short sample size guy. It's kind of like we waited to get a lot more exposure until May, June. You might have noticed more likes on the card this time of the season, also because NBA is winded down, but also because I think it kind of, the board becomes more apparent. You can see where the money is going to be funneling, and you can also get early to some of these numbers. I'm recording early, and there's a reason for that. We're trying to get closing line value. And yet everything I'm just saying doesn't really apply here because I'm hoping the Mets take some money in some capacity here, either on the first 5 or the Houston money line side, because Blanco is so much better than Jose Quintana. It's not even funny. Ronel Blanco at this stage of their careers, 217 expected batting average right now this season, 35% hard hit. Quintana, 3.5 K line, 44% hard hit, 17.2% K rate, 353 xWOBA. I have everything in my sheet just drastically favoring Blanco. The question is, can Alvarez and company just continue this ridiculous run? Because Nimmo, JD Martinez is along for the ride. Francisco Lindor's along for the ride. All these dudes slashing better than 475 expected slugging. So, like, there's a lot of other characters other than just Alvarez who are going nuts. But Blanco is so much better here. Can Houston regain some sort of semblance of themselves? Can we get Jordan Alvarez to hit a couple bombs, something here? I don't know. But I'm calling it a lean like here. I wouldn't mind if you just sat here and waited for the -112, but I'm going to let this be known. When the public really catches on to a trend, I wait for some of these numbers more times than not. Hopefully the Mets take money. Hopefully we can get a better price here on Houston, but I'm waiting for potentially -105 on the Houston side in either capacity in the first 5. I might pull the trigger on that. Going to be the slight priority for me if these numbers stay the same. Producer Jacob probably hates me for everything that I put in this corner, but here's the thing, is that play-by-play simulation is very, very hard, and it's still something that I don't necessarily have a right process for. Now, we work on the Sims tool over at Stochastic for DFS, for daily fantasy stuff, which is great, and it's fantastic for NFL and NBA play-by-play simulations, but in baseball, because of how much changes on a day-to-day basis with lineup order, weather, ballparks, teams on the road, who's might be hurt, things of that nature. The play-by-play simulations for baseball with extreme outcomes, the difference between the mean and median in terms of total bases and things of that nature, it is very, very difficult for me to look ahead at some of these spots and give you a sense of where I should be having some of the total bases prop. But that said, we've been incorporating them a little bit more purely because I have a pretty good process of seeing where the numbers are going to land and then setting my break-even lines. That being said, I've said that twice now, so we're going to stop saying that being said. The San Diego Padres taking on the Boston Red Sox. We have Vasquez, we have Pivetta. Pivetta, he's got good strikeout stuff, but San Diego doesn't strike out a whole hell of a lot against righties, and it leads to some craziness. League low, 18.2% K rate against righties, and then their WRC plus is second best, 121 in all of baseball. Of course, there's no Fernando Tatis out there, but they have a Gashioka double-donging out there in San Diego now, and Jake Cronenworth, Jackson Merrill, a number of these guys. But you should know by now, from the beginning of this season until now, we have backed Mr. Jake Cronenworth a lot more than the public has. I think we're going to be getting some good prices here inside of the minus 105 into the plus money territory against somebody like Nick Pivetta, who gives up power at the same time. Let me just throw that out there. 446 expected slugging, 9.6% barrel percentage. I love 2+ bases for him, but that's not all. I also love 2+ bases for Rafael Devers, a lefty going up against Vasquez. Vasquez is brutal, 545 expected slugging, 10.1% barrel percentage, but that's not all, friends. You get a new car. No, you get 9.5 for the total. The 9.5 total, your friends. I like that the most. Devers and Cronenworth, I'm assuming that we're going to be getting some kind of numbers that we can play with here. Inside of minus 120 for Devers, inside of minus 105 for Jake Cronenworth. Maybe with the 9th inning bump, it comes a little bit different, but the home run numbers, especially when you talk about the barrel percentage for both of these guys, 9.5% or higher for both. Oh, darling, hold on to your boots, Ted. Oh, it's different. Don't put it out with your boots, Ted. Call the fire department. Woman, that sounds out of control. It's poop again. Name that movie. Nothing to really talk about here. This is absurd. Minus 166, it looks a little trappy. Looks a little bit trappy considering it's Morton versus Perez. But Charlie Morton here, I'm a little bit uncomfortable backing this Atlanta lineup at the moment. They go to Kansas City, do absolutely nothing. They go to Chicago, just absolute pain and suffering personified. 330 ex-WOBA here for Charlie Morton. A little bit worrisome. 10.5% walk rate with some of the speed like O'Neal Cruz and Nick Gonzalez and Jared Triolo. Yeah, this is a freaky freaking spot. Now, lefty power has played down, yes, down on Baseball Savant here in Atlanta. I would say Truist Park, probably one of the weirdest park factors. Also, we'll discuss that. Fenway, been way up for power this season, and that completely makes sense to me because like we're seeing a lot of guys just smashing Fenway, but also Petco playing way up for home runs. Tons of park factor stuff that I'm going to start addressing more and more on this program because it's always intertwined into my analysis. Don't always talk about it the same way that I talk about these starters. Mainly, it's talking points and things of that nature, but I'm a little bit confused that I'm not on this Atlanta side. It has more to do with the recent month, which is brutality for Atlanta. I'm not sure what to make of Marcell Ozuna, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Travis d'Arnaud. Jared Kelenich's been awesome as a leadoff hitter for them, and it still hasn't resulted in the win column. So maybe put it together now, birds of a feather now. But Atlanta money line and the run line just going to be a lean for me. This is already up to minus 180 at some books. So at minus 166 on FanDuel, the last of the Mohicans, if you will. I didn't pull the trigger even there. Starting to get to like, almost Pittsburgh territory outside of the 20-cent differential. But I'm just going to be staying away from it here, not trusting Atlanta's lineup at the moment. Like this one, though, Taillon, Rea. These are two pitchers that have not been going in the right directions here this season. Now, Colin Rea, everybody tells me, look at his ERA. Look at his ERA. Eric, he's been so much better than what you would think. You know what? No, none of it matters. When you have a 483 expected slugging and a 15.6% K rate, 3.26 ERA, congratulations. You have a 5.34 expected ERA, which is in the bottom 10% of baseball. So for me, no thank you. Always going to be targeting somebody like this. If you're getting a low total, like we're getting with 8. And Jameson Taillon on the other side, he's had some good performances, but I want to just, once again, re-emphasize. We did have like 2 weeks where we saw the wind blowing out at Wrigley, and we talked about that one ad nauseum. But for the most part, the wind has been predominantly in at Wrigley this season, so some of the home splits for certain guys are looking pretty good, pretty darn good for specific guys. Oh no, I almost just died there. Sorry. But Taillon's been all right, I guess, on both sides of it. 2.97 ERA at home, 2.79 on the road. But you know how many road games he's had this season, friends? I just want you to guess. How many games do you think Jameson Taillon has had on the road this season? The answer will shock you. The answer will surprise you. The answer will load up on my sheet just like I have the talking point written here, because why would it want to leave me out to dry here in this very moment? Two. No, he said 5. 5. Why did I think it was 2? I don't know. Well, we like the over here of 8, so that's cool. There's a lot of work on my voice. Butcher gutcher. Yeah. Nah, gonna have to clip that. Nope, don't clip that. Don't. Let's talk BetMGM. Down at the link below, friends, first bet safety net, you simply click on BetMGM. You sign up there for the first time, and when you deposit $25 more and play $25 more on your first bet, if it wins, keep the money. If it loses, get the money back in bonus bets. What a great opportunity. And friends, that is active all the way up to $1,500. So it could be 25 you deposit. It could also be 250, 500, 1,000. And whatever you bet on that first bet comes back in bonus bets, even if that bet doesn't win. If it wins, keep the money. Take a big plus money shot. Fire up some, White Sox alternate spreads. Fire up some K props that, are on the alternate numbers. Get yourself something plus 300 or better, because that's going to take your expected value up long term. We can talk about that at a different date. But right now, head to BetMGM. Take advantage of this if you haven't yet. If you haven't signed up at BetMGM, add another great sportsbook with some of the best home run odds. Yeah, you heard me. Some of the best home run odds now in all of baseball available for you over at BetMGM. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. We're 60% of the way through, 6 games to go. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we talk about this one very quickly. Tristan McKenzie is not good. Kansas City, this weather, it's interesting. It's a little bit interesting. Obviously, humidity up here for the summer. When I met you in the summer. But anyway, it's going to be blowing out 10 miles per hour to left field. And yet, I'm looking at a lefty going up against Alec Marsh. Now, this is Josh Naylor. We have backed him a ton. And Alec Marsh has been getting very lucky against lefties. 184 expected ISO, only a 105 ISO against. Now, he's been even worse against righties, 254 ISO, 221 expected ISO. But with that wind blowing out to left here too, Apo Taco, Josh Naylor, I've seen enough of them this year that I want myself a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Josh Naylor to homer, anything better than plus 330, which is what I expect here. Talked about the break-even odds. They are very, very important. Take those to heart. We're going to look at the entire Cleveland lineup, though, because Alec Marsh, he is due for regression. Cincinnati, St. Louis, I said we'd bring it up here, and I'm going to bring it up. Jonathan India, he is a hitter that is now leading off routinely, just continuing his streak. Yet again, goes ballistic there for the pick 6 people here tonight. Very, very nice there. But I got to say, Jonathan India, didn't know... I'm sorry, I wasn't really familiar with your game. Actually, I'm pretty familiar with this game because he's had it in the past. 745 OPS in 2023, 705 in 2022. It's up higher now. 764 in 2024. These are good numbers. And now leading off, because in the month of June, similar to what we just talked about with Alvarez, you got a ridiculous slash line. 368, 451, 553, not expected. All of those regular standard numbers. 553 slugging now for this guy. Oh, friends. I'm looking at 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Fire it up. Really good stuff here. I think anything better than minus 145 is going to be in play for me here on this one. Again, take those to heart. I'll take a look at the 2.5s if they start showing up here and sprinkling, but jump in early, jump in often, because this Palante fellow, isn't Palante like a vegetable or something? Is it? Producer Jacob doesn't know. I don't know either. Next game. I like this super quick. Kenta Maeda, Zach Plesac. Yeah, Zach Plesac's terrible at this stage of his career. He was terrible in Cleveland too, but it is what it is. He's now in a Halos uniform, and he's got a 736 expected slugging so far this season in 36 batted ball events. Now, that can only get better. That is as bad as it gets in baseball. And a 9.90 expected ERA. It's been a while since I've seen something that high. He is just a beanbag chair. Absolute beanbag chair. This is technically my favorite play on the board right now. Thought about locking it, but I'm also a coward the likes of which this world has never seen before. Kenta Maeda, I think part of it too is that I don't completely trust the stuff. 464 expected slugging, 17.6% K rate is low, but 9.3% barrel percentage, freaky. Does limit some of the hard hit, 34.3%, but it's a good hitting ballpark, upping the variance a little bit. 9 total. I think Plesac just gets smashed here, but price considered, it's still a Detroit lineup that's not exactly the best to be backing. 92 WRC plus against righties. I'm just going to tread lightly, like Walter White recommended to his brother-in-law. Yeah, it was his brother-in-law. No. Yeah, it was brother-in-law. Hank. Just put Detroit money line on the screen, producer Jacob, next game. You know what? I'm so over Bailey Ober, Logan Gilbert in this one. And my buddy, my homie in life, Mr. Eitan Shander, he tried to talk me into firing up against my Minnesota Twins. And, well, as much as I love picking on our staff, because, well, overall, we've been doing that pretty profitably. Obviously, wish I had fired more on this new cat that ended up showing up on Thursday. Of course, I fire up his strikeouts, and he didn't come close to that. He had 2 back-to-back, and then nothing else the rest of the game there in that 4th inning. But such is life. Bailey Ober, Logan Gilbert, 6.5, 7. These are the opening numbers that we have across the board for both of these guys, depending on where you're looking. And I do upload some of the pick'em stuff there, 7s that are showing up. We'll see if this gets pushed to like a 7.5. I bet we end up getting some of those for either one of them because the strikeout rates are going to be there. But Minnesota against righties. Oh my goodness. We are not nearly as good as against lefties, but 107 WRC plus, they've been rising. They've been looking better. Not going to be going out of my way to pick on anything there, but I do like Bailey Ober at 6.5 minus 150 at DK. This is going to fly north of this. So I'm going to put a like there. Thought about locking this, but I'm not going to lock a minus 150 for the people here. I'm not going to be doing that here on this program. But a ladder up to 9? This could be really fun. Seattle, we know that they have the highest strikeout rate in baseball, 28% against righties, 98 WRC plus, the best pitcher's park in baseball over a 3-year rolling average on Baseball Savant. Thought about Minnesota money line, thought about it, thought better of it. Bailey Ober, we're going to try to make the strikeouts work here. It's not that the books don't know this, but want to see some of those alternate numbers. So bet the over 6.5 right now. Anything better than minus 170 can be a parlay piece, if you will. But a ladder up to 9, I want to see some of these alternate numbers. It would be nice to be getting 7.5 better than plus 130, getting 8.5 up and near that plus 250, plus 260 type range. I don't know if we get it, but I'm going to be paying very close attention tomorrow. Our last true play that we have going, JP Sears, Slade Ciccone, and Arizona got their faces kicked in 13-6 by my Twins there on Thursday, but they didn't utilize any of their main bullpen arms. So that's one thing to make of note. And yet I'm not really in love with any of their main bullpen arms right now. JP Sears, Slade Ciccone as starters. This one has fireworks written on it. Now, I think the roof stays closed in Arizona because it's infinity degrees out there. Just throwing it out there. But 465 expected slugging, 15.4% K rate. Really bad stuff from Sears, the southpaw. You're seeing some substantially, I'd say some improvement from guys like Randall Grichuk and Henio Suarez, pieces like that for Arizona because, well, Corbin Carroll's going to have to get buried in some of these spots. But Arizona against lefties, 114 WRC plus, like them a lot more against southpaws despite Corbin Carroll. As for the righty on the other side, Slade Ciccone, he's not my homie. Just throwing it out there. 450 expected slugging, 18.5% K rate, north of a 10.5% barrel percentage. Fire up the over of 8.5. I like it. Let's go to the last game. We've reached the last game, and it's Landon Knack and Mr. Logan Webb. And Logan Webb, ground ball rate, still giving up that hard hit. Has to deal with the Ohtani character. Don't bet Ohtani to hit a home run today. I know it's going to look good. I know it's going to have... There's no way you're going to get a bettable price. People sending me screenshots of plus 160 Shohei Ohtani because you, quote, knew he was going to hit a home run. Stop it. But congratulations. I'm really happy for you. We should go now. Under 7.5 is the only thing that's standing out from your knack. He's got a knack for pitching well so far. Like it. I'm done. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Hit that like button for me on the way out. Check out BetMGM. Check out OddsShopper. Hopefully see you in that premium Discord. Been a successful week on the whole. Hopefully we can finish it off with a bang, Mike Breen style on Friday. Thank you, producer Jacob. NBA Draft. Oh, boy. Bronny James. He's a Laker. saying a lot of stuff I really don't care about. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Friday.